Good morning, everybody. Yep, it's still morning. Um, Good morning. And this morning, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is, I guess you'd call it my origin story. So I did mention, there were a couple things that I mentioned. I mentioned that I had a friend who, as a result of um, a scammer, had unalived herself because she lost everything. She lost her home, she lost her retirement, but most importantly, she lost her heart, and just really just didn't feel like she could go on anymore. So um, anyway, I that's part of my origin story. Part of it is that I became really determined that I was going to do what I can, which is very little. But if I can expose scammers, if I can help other people see what scammers, what they're doing. So anyway, that's part of the origin story, but there's another part too. And somebody had mentioned, that I should talk about kind of my origins and have I ever been scammed. And I can tell you, I've never lost money to a scammer, but I will tell you that I did get emotionally attached and emotionally involved with someone who was a scammer. So I'm going to tell you that story. This one might be a little bit longer than the others, but it might not. So it began as you know, my husband died 14 years ago. After a couple of years of being alone, I decided to try online dating and put up a profile, went to a couple of different dating sites and had some people that I met on the site, and actually did go and if you want to hear, I'll tell the story of the worst date I've ever had in my life, but we'll see what the comments say. So I did date. I had three different men that I went out on a date with. Two of them I went on one date with, and the third one I went on two dates with. So the online dating part, I felt like was real, in that these were real people that I actually could meet. So this is how I met Mark, and that's how he presented himself. Was his name was Mark. I am fairly confident that's not his name now. In any event, so we met online. He didn't live in the same town that I live in, but he lived in the same state. And he was probably 100 miles from me. So it wasn't a great distance. It was a bit of a drive for us to meet, but it wasn't a huge drive. We talked every day. First we talked online, then we started emailing, and then we started talking on the phone. When I say every day, I mean I got texts every day, I got emails every day, and I got phone calls every day. So we grew quite close to each other. It was probably 2 months of us talking every day, and we had started talking about getting together, meeting halfway between his house and my house. He told me previous to that conversation that he was working on a bid for an overseas job that would be about 3 months long, that he was going to New York to meet with the people that he was doing the bid for. He was going to go present the bid. So he was going to go to New York. He'd be gone for a few days, and then when he got back, we would get together. Again, he told me this probably 2 weeks before we started. That was the first conversation that we had about getting together, was him saying, hey, I'm working on this proposal. I'm really busy right now. I will still call you every day, but I don't have as much time. This is the biggest job I've ever gone after. He is, in his profile, an engineer. So, okay, that's fine. He goes to New York and he calls me from New York and he says, "Oh my God, I got the bid. I can't believe this. This is the biggest job that I've ever done. I'm super excited, but I have to leave right away to go. They need me immediately." And I said, "Okay, well, it's 3 months. We've not met, and we'll just continue calling and chatting and whatnot. And okay, fine." So he leaves, goes to Cyprus, and all is well. We're still talking online, still texting, still phone calls. Everything is the same, except that he's now in Cyprus, not in the United States. After about 4 or 5 months, dates, I'm not great with timelines, but it was a while, maybe 6 months. He tells me that he had a car accident, and in the car accident he lost his wallet. And he sends me a picture of a smashed car with that. I do a search. I'm trying to be diligent, so I do a search, and yes, it's from a rental company in Cyprus, and the photo comes back to that there was he said he was hit by a drunk driver, and that's what it says, that it was an accident with a drunk driver. And there were no fatalities. There was one person in the car, and that person was injured. So I am believing all of this. And he doesn't, as I'm telling you this, I realize he didn't tell me that he lost his wallet at the time he told me he had the accident. He just told me he had an accident. So so I'm, of course, terribly worried about him. And he said he's not, I hit the airbags deployed, and I'm just kind of bumped and bruised. I'm not really injured. I'm not at the hospital. I went to the hospital. They released me. They said you're going to be sore for a while. This all seems legit because, like I said, I did a reverse image search and got verification of what he had said had happened and where he said it had happened. So we continue on, and a couple of months later, he says that he needs my help because he lost his wallet in the accident, so he doesn't have any ID. And he needs to be able to, he has clients all over the world that he does work for, and he needs for them to send me checks that I will then deposit, and then I will send him cryptocurrency. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. I'm not at all comfortable with that. I feel like this is a scam. I told him straight out. He responds actually very positively that he understands. He doesn't ever want me to feel uncomfortable. He'll find another way. And so we continue to talk. He calls me every day. We email each other every day. We send texts. It's like nothing has changed. He asked me for a favor. I refused. He was fine with it. But every couple of months, he would bring up, "Oh boy, I'm really struggling because without my ID, and I'm not in the United States to be able to get another ID, I have all this money piling up that I can't access." And I keep replying, "You don't really need the money though, because you're being, everything that you need is covered as part of your contract with this company. You've told me that. And why are these people not just directly depositing into your account? Even if you can't access it, if you trust me enough, have them deposit it all into your account, give me access to your account, and then I can convert that money into crypto for you and send it to you, or wire you the money, whatever it is that you need." So every time that he would bring this up, I would respond by saying, no, I'm not going to let you send me checks, but I would offer him options. And he would always say, oh, it's fine. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. This went on for 2 years. I kid you not. For 2 years, I talked to this guy. So the 3 months became 6 months because there was some equipment failures, and Christmas came and went, New Year's came and went, Valentine's Day came and went. All of these holidays, all of these things are just going by all of this time. We're still talking every day. We're still telling each other we love each other. Nothing is really changing. And finally, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have a long distance relationship. So I think we just need to end it. And he said, well, if you would send me, right now I'm done with the project. I just need to get home, but I need $25,000. So if you would send me $25,000, then I can get home. And that was the end of that. I said, that will never happen. I will never send you money. I don't know you. Now, my biggest mistake in this from the beginning was not doing a reverse search of his photo, because there are thousands of pictures of this guy online under probably 20 different names. And it was, bad me. I know better. But instead of doing that, because I had been kind of drawn in, I didn't want to see what I knew. I was emotionally invested in this guy. He was handsome. He was charming. He was charismatic. He was funny. We had very similar interests. He was one of the things that really drew me to him was that right away he started talking about social justice issues. And that's a big deal to me. I'm really kind of into social justice. So that tripped my trigger, and I stopped looking for what I knew was there. Did I get my heart broken? Yeah, I did. I missed talking to him. I missed us having this connection, but I also knew this isn't real. It's just not real. And so I can continue minus the $25,000 because I was never going to send him money. I could continue with this for as long as he would put up this ruse, but in the end, it's not real. And I need to get my mind around that, and I need to end this. That's the origins of between my friend, who, as I said, unalived herself. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but that, and then having this 2-year fake relationship. Those were the two things that made me feel like I need to warn other people, because I got my heart broken, and I lost a really dear friend to romance scammers. So I just felt like I needed to do something. And I felt like I needed to share this with you. I think it's important that you understand who I am and where I'm coming from. I hope that you guys will share your origin stories. That's kind of how I'm couching it. I don't know if that's really the right way to say it, but I did want to make sure that I shared mine with you so you see that the reasoning behind why I'm doing this, and understand that I take this very seriously. Thanks so much for watching. And again, remember, we pay for love with our hearts, not our wallets.